Good morning. This is Mr. Barth again. It is Wednesday the 20th. All right. Before we start, what I'd like to do is I would like you to take a look at the figure before us and in your mind decide how you would like to split that up in order to find the area. And you can pause the video now. Okay. Today's goal is to kind of expand your thinking about how to handle finding the area of composite shapes. As these get more complex, it's important to have options. And today I'm going to try and give you some options that I think can make it easier. Okay. So I'm guessing that most of you, when you looked at this shape, you tried to divide it up into 3 rectangles. You may have, drawn a line here, like that, something like that, and you got 1, 2, 3 rectangles, or possibly even one of these, and you have 1, 2, 3 rectangles. You could have done that also. I'm going to try and show you an easier way, well, what I think is easier. It's a little tough to conceptualize, but take a look at this thinking. If I were to hand you a piece of paper that looked just like this, how would you describe it? And I think most of you, when I ask this question of 7th graders, most of you say, oh, it's like a rectangle with a little slot taken out of it. And then I say, well, what shape is the slot? And they say it's a rectangle. And I say, so what you're saying is that it's a rectangle with a rectangle taken out of it? And they say, yeah. And then I say, okay, then your plan is, this is a rectangle, your big one, minus a rectangle, small. And that's our plan. Okay, so the past 2 days, we've done all composite shapes where we take 2 areas and add them together. Today, we're going to take 2 composite shapes and subtract them. Okay, and the idea here is that I have this rectangle, okay, the whole big one, okay, and I'm going to subtract out this shaded area. Okay, all right, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. I got my formula for a rectangle is base times height, and my formula for a small rectangle is still base times height. Okay, the formula for the rectangle, the big one, is 22 and 14. Okay, so I'm going to substitute that in there, 22 and 14. And my small rectangle is 1 and 8. Okay. And I'm just going to subtract the 2. Okay, 22 times 14 is 308, I believe. I better come over here and do that. Let's see, 22 times 14 is 8, 2, 8, 8, 308. Okay, and 1 times 8 is 8. All right, so obviously this is 308. And again, we're using inches because we're talking about an area. All right, second example. All right, now again, the goal is to think about this in a slightly different way. It wouldn't be that hard to say, oh, this is a rectangle and a trapezoid, and do it that way. Or some of you might do a rectangle and then come down to here, rectangle, rectangle, and a triangle. Okay, but I'm going to choose not to do it that way. I'm going to think about it slightly differently. Okay, and I'm going to sort of think of it, and some textbooks or videos might refer to this as negative space. In other words, I had a big rectangle and I chopped off the corner. Okay, now in mathematical terms, that's I had a big rectangle and I chopped off a corner. Well, what shape is that corner? Oh, that's a triangle. Okay, and if you can envision what the piece of paper looked like before you cut off the triangle, okay, All right, so my plan is a rectangle minus a triangle. So I'm doing the same thing, base times height minus 1/2 times base times height. Okay, and then I'm going to substitute in, all right, my rectangle at base times height. If this whole thing, okay, so that would be 21 times 44. And this triangle, the base and the height. Okay, so this is a little trickier. Okay, I got to figure out what these sides are. I don't need this because that's not the base or the height. The base or the height are always perpendicular. Okay, so I need this side right here, and I need this side right here. Okay, let's see how we can get those. All right, so I know that this is 21, so this whole side has to be 21. In other words, from here to here must be 21. So this in here must be 21 minus 9. It's like I took this and I cut off the 9. So 21 minus 9 is 12 meters. Okay, and I can figure out the same, or use the same process to get this length up here. If this is 44 from here to here, then this whole side that I've created by adding on the dotted line is 44. Okay, so 44 minus 35, that's 9. Okay, so now I know I have my triangle. I can fill these in. This is 1/2 times 12 times 9. That's my base and my height. Okay, so let's simplify this a little bit. Let's see, 21 times 44, that's what, 880 plus 44, 924. I better check that. 924. 44 times 21, 42044. Oops, I'm messing up here. 429, 924, good. Okay, 1/2 times 12 times 9. Half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 9 is 54. And 924 minus 54 is 870, and we're talking about square meters. And we're going to ask you on the problems that we give you today, please use this. There should be subtractions in all of your problems. Thanks. Have a great day.